Hi, I'm Nicole Brown, and this is my reflection for On the Road by Jack Kerouac, is I think how you say it, pages 231 through 290. So in this section, I found it a lot easier to comprehend than the first, but there's still a lot of like character switching, bouncing from place to place, and it was still like that huge adventure vibe that we got from the first section. So to start out, Jack, Neil, Luann, and Al plan on going back out west. They kind of take like a different route. They hit the southern states, Virginia, West Virginia. They're in New Orleans, down in Louisiana. They're in Florida. Like, they're just doing a lot more like exploring, I guess. And I thought that was something to address because in terms of historical significance, nowadays, like when people want to go to California from New York, a lot of them fly, and if you are gonna make that trip, like it's gonna be so long they would just drive straight there anyway. But they clearly had more of a bone for adventure, and they seemed to really like the idea of exploring new territory as they were going. Al ended up staying in New Orleans with Bill Burrow, Joanne Adams, and his wife Helen, and obviously Bill and Joanne's kids, Joan or Joanne, one of the two. And that was kind of like a turning point, I feel like, in this section, just because after that, the tension between like Neil, Luann, and Jack escalated a little bit in terms of Luann really wanted Neil's attention, but Neil really wasn't giving it. So she kind of used Jack to get it. Well, that didn't really work, but they ended up making it all the way through Texas. They were in a ditch at one point because drunk drivers almost hit them. They went through a snowstorm, but they made it to Arizona, got some money from a friend, and then it was like Neil totally threw in a plot twist by taking the vehicle and leaving Luann and Jack to try to figure out what their next step would be without a vehicle. And that's like when things got really, really rocky because they were now struggling on their own and they found out like they don't love each other. This isn't real. So then actually Neil goes back east, Luann is still out west, and Jack heads back east, and Jack eventually comes back and talks to Neil, and Neil is like, where have you been all this time? As though he didn't literally take his car and go.